It's so lovely to see you. It really is. Looking so amazing, actually, with everything you have on your plate. My goodness.
Hair and makeup.
Yeah. The movie, The Changeling, I have to say, and it's not just because you're sitting in front of me, is one of the most stunning, affecting movies I've ever seen, I think. It's just incredible. But the subject matter, clearly you being a mum, and I felt all those maternal feelings as well, very hard. Your son goes missing at the beginning of the movie. You must have found that hard too.
Oh, the whole film. I read the script and then I didn't want to do the film, and I thought about, but I thought about her, and I thought of what an amazing woman she was and what she fought through, and in the end I saw it as a story about justice. I loved it, and I did want people to know what actually happened, because this really happened, every piece of it, and it is an extraordinary story. Not just in that female emotional way, but with corruption, and it unravels in such a bizarre, even halfway through it, people who see the film, suddenly this whole other story surfaces, and it has a very full life that's quite shocking.
Well, aren't you gonna...
It's not my son.
What? What are you saying?
It's not my son.
Well, I'm sure you're mistaken.
I'm not mistaken.
It must have been hard for you at some stage, especially being a mum and having that little relationship.
Oh, it was horrible.
with
Yeah, no, it was a horrible, just a horrible film to shoot.
Did you ever take it home with you, that sort of emotion? And...
I think I was quite the opposite. I was so happy at the end of every day and at every lunch, because my kids would come see me. I was so happy I knew where they were.
Yeah.
I knew they were safe. I was so grateful for that. And that I was just a giddy, silly, so instead of coming home with this weight on my shoulder, I was goofy, happy mom.
Thank goodness it's not true. It's like waking up from a nightmare.
Yeah, so every day I was just, and I think I've learned that lesson from the film. I'm just so grateful I know where my children are, and I think of other countries in the world where there is still this kind of corruption in government with police, and I think of how important it is to question authority and why, and so there are a lot of, I learned a lot from it.
And Clint Eastwood, who directed this movie, a lot of the press he did before the movie came out in America, he said that sometimes your face gets in the way of your career, that you have the most beautiful face on the planet, and sometimes people don't see beyond that to the great actress that lies beneath.
That's very sweet.
Would you agree with that, though?
I think maybe more the idea of this celebrity culture these days, and the idea of, you know, it used to be just your job as kind of an actor. You're like the court jester, you know, you put on costumes and you try to entertain people, or you try to tell a story, and I think you're most effective doing that when people don't know so much about you. And I think, if anything, that can be the one distracting thing. It's more about that than just the story, and the stories, and Christine and her life and who she was, which is so much more remarkable than me.
I'm finished. Can I go to my room now?
Yes.
Good night, Mommy.